It's a big week for gaming. Okay, in totality, Friday to Friday, right? Like we're smack dab in the middle of it. So things require a little bit more context this time around. And well, in years gone by, prior to pandemic and all that stuff, the beginning of June used to be gamer Christmas, right? Like you had E3 where you had all of the big studios, all of the big developers. You had Microsoft, Sony, you had Nintendo holding conferences. Some legendary memes were created with Shigeru Miyamoto in the late 2000s, just flailing away with a Nintendo motion controllers poorly playing stage 1-1 on Wii Music. Like that shit is legendary. You have Sony with Ridge Racer $5.99 for the brand new PS3. And then, of course, Xbox in 2013 completely and totally killing off their brand, which we can all look to now, especially with all of Microsoft and Xbox's problems, and go back and go, yeah, the announcement of the Xbox One console, ooh, that's kind of where all the problems started, and they never really recovered from that. Also, all the Kinect demos, the VR demos that never ended up boring out anything fruitful, or just ended up being catastrophic disasters, or Peter Molyneux coming out every couple of years, kind of like Christ being resurrected in order to spew some lies and then go hang out for a few years hoping everybody remembered his last set of lies, and then come out and go, well, actually Fable was a pretty good game, and Indigo Prophecy, if you guys played it, you remember, Peter does have some, hits under his belt. Black and White was pretty good. But I used to look forward to that stuff all the time, and now we just kind of have the Dorito Pope doing a live stream and then a bunch of other freaks that are hosting them as well. But Sony got the festivities kicked off at the end of last week, I think last Friday or something like that. Like, it is so forgettable, mostly because what was the biggest thing that came out of it? Astro Boy platformer. Who's Astro Boy? Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing going on. These conferences that Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo used to put on were like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours long. A lot of it was fluff. A lot of it was references to things that had nothing to do with gaming outside of, what was that, Sony's 2015 conference that absolutely killed it, where they had the announcement of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake. It wouldn't end up coming out for another half decade, but I'm not salty, not bitter about that at all whatsoever. It took way too long. It should be already playing Reclaim at this point in time, but whatever. But now, no. All this stuff is digital. It's all live streams, right? Like this Friday, have stupid ass Jeff Keighley on stage for like 45 minutes to an hour, just doing his most corporate speak, maybe debuting a few trailers, but ultimately it's really not going to matter. I'm looking forward to a couple of potential announcements for ports. It's either going to be at that live stream or the one on Sunday for PC games where, Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth, and might get announcements of ports maybe for PC, who knows, but the rest of it's all trash, bro, because most of the people forgot about what Sony had. There was some insight into Monster Hunter Wilds, which we're supposed to be getting more of that over this weekend. Cool. But the other thing was, the already announced a long time ago Silent Hill 2 remake, which for people who are fans of the Silent Hill franchise and people who are long-suffering Konami fans, Konami, like one of the heavy hitters back during the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis times, where they were cranking out hit after hit after hit, and then by the time the late 2000s rolled around, they were just that shitty publisher still funding all of Hideo Kojima's wildest mescaline trips. Like, that guy's a hack that gets way too much love, but whatever. Now they're trying to get back into the gaming space, I guess, potentially after years of just cranking out pachinko machines. I wish I was joking on that one, but the guys who gave you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade games, Turtles in Time, the Manhattan Project, like all that great stuff, they were the kings of the platform. And then it just ended up becoming the Metal Gear publisher. But now they're running it back with the Silent Hill 2 remake, and this was announced around the same time that a lot of those old horror games were getting remakes, right? Like Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, games that, could use a facelift, and the Dead Space remake, has been incredibly well received. Same with the RE4 one, so you would hope the Triumvirate would end up being polished off appropriately, but now we've seen some stuff, and it's not great. And this Bloober Team right here, who's working on this, see how Bloober Team devs working on Silent Hill 2 preserved the authenticity while adapting a horror classic for, oh god, they said the thing, they did the meme, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. This doesn't have sound or anything, so you're not missing it. What's the first face that you see? Yeah, there you go. So you already know what time it is. And oh wait, guys, actually gets worse because there's some comparisons that are right here. I'll just bring it up. We don't need sound or anything, really, because they're just, comparing and contrasting some voice acting. It was already stilted back in the cut, but there you got the character models, which, yeah, and even those PS2, because I think Silent Hill 2, it was on the PS2, like the character models, as crude as they were, but some of those CG footage, CG cutscenes, they were pretty good. And you want to compare and contrast that with what we have right now, and who the fuck is that? That's not faithful at all. And yeah, they're making it for modern audiences, huh? So that includes a widened jawline, because of course it does. Of course it does. Video game publisher Konami confirmed that developer Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 remake was intentionally designed for modern audiences, which is always the kiss of death for any project. In a post on X, Konami wrote, "See how Bloober Team," yeah, we seen that post right there. In the accompanying video, the game's lead producer, Glom, detailed, "I think the biggest change that we've had was actually how to make the game approachable for newcomers." You're making a remake of a game that's over 20 years old, and it's the second in a long-running franchise. If you haven't hopped on the Silent Hill bandwagon by now, you're not gonna start, okay? And then to try to update it for modern audiences, yeah, we've talked about this a lot. Cite me one specific example where updating something for a modern audience has actually made it better. If you go in with that specific idea where we need to go ahead and we need to update this stuff, when has it ever worked at all whatsoever? Oh wait, you can't cite the example because it doesn't fucking exist. The modern audience is a myth. Hollywood has been chasing that dragon, gaming has been chasing that dragon, and we've seen studios and projects shuttered by the wayside just because some woke ideologues have clogged up the industry. Good fucking job. Creative designer and lead director Matthias Leinart added, "Our goal from the very beginning was to maintain the game's atmosphere while modernizing the gameplay to make it competitive in 2024. Yeah, that's fine, man, because I'm sure some of those old controls from a game, that was of its time, use some updating, and that's fine. If you're going to be doing a remake or remaster, whatever the hell this is supposed to be, you want to do some gameplay tweaks, that's fine, man. Some quality life improvements, that's great. But when you start to go in and you start to make other undue changes, that's when it's a problem. Okay, Barbara Kukic, Bloober Team's senior narrative designer, explained how the company changed the story. Don't. How about don't? Because for as little as I know about Silent Hill in general, I don't like horror games all that much. It's not really my style. I understand that Silent Hill 2 is pretty much the high point for a lot of people. So if you're going to be changing the story, tread carefully. In the remake, the story remains largely the same. However, the magic of modern technology, we're able to expand on some of its aspect, which, yeah, would be fine if you weren't trying to make it for modern audiences. And the hardest was designing combat by Monica Chimura. Oh, great. Noticing certain through lines here. We want to be as faithful as possible to the original game, but also we want players to feel satisfaction while playing. Of course, you want them to feel. You don't want them to think or actually experience. You just want them to feel a certain way. Remember that we need to fit the horror genre. Inaudible. Well, yeah, it's a woman talking. The confirmation that the game was designed for modern audiences comes in the wake of the game being accused of pushing DEI agenda by working with the video game game consultancy Hit Detection. Oh yeah, interesting. Interesting about that. So shout out to Grums once again for running this back. Let's see how Silent Hill 2 is going. Oh, I guess consulting firm Hit Detection didn't predict this gamer reaction. Konami and Bloober Team don't hire consulting firms like Hit Detection. They have no idea what they are doing and just cost you a lot of sales. Exactly, because yeah, there's the side-by-side that we showed before, and well, as you can see, the modern audience apparently really likes pre-diabetic faces. But yeah, Bloober Team has hired Sweet Baby Inc. 2, Hit Detection, a sensitivity consultancy company for Resident Evil 2 Remake, and ESG Konami. Yeah, Konami, there's a reason that they've been just delving deeper and deeper into the gambling stuff, because you normally don't have to deal with this stuff. But now that they're making a comeback, well, they're dragging up all of these old archaic policies that is definitely being sunsetted in the wider industry. Ever wonder why Maria looks so sanitized? Not spoiling the game, but it's over, bros. Pack your things. When they said modern audiences, they mean it. Our clients include Remedy. Oh, right, Remedy, the studio behind... Oh, what was that? Alan Wake 2. Okay. Yeah, team assesses the risk factors for depictions of characters and underrepresented groups, themes, and potential community reactions. Yep, you could see that exact same type of verbiage over at Sweet Baby Inc.'s website as well. Our commitment to building a team from a variety of backgrounds, including underrepresented groups. Yeah, exactly. We have a very diverse group of woke ideologues that just never seem to push anything other than divisive political messaging. It's very strange how all of that shit tends to work. But oh right, it gets worse. Suicide Squad game developers mock gamer outrage over uglification of characters in Silent Hill 2. Yeah, because if you thought it was bad when it came to Maria, well, just take a look at the other models that are out there. And again, this isn't one of those Stellar Blade situations where what happened, you just, you put more fabric over her, or just some dumbasses that think that Tifa, they cut down on her boobie size, that make game woke. No, it's you're specifically trying to push a certain agenda, and you're making changes to make characters look objectively uglier. Like, I mean, what's with these round heads, bro? Like, you get everything else just about right. Of her upper midriff, you give her a stupid chest tattoo, which should be illegal. You change the choker chain that she has. And yeah, you make her head 2 sizes too large, and you cut down on any sort of feminine figure that could potentially be presented. Here you have this Del Walker cat. As a game dev, I'm here to tell you that these situations arise when there are too many men on a team. Oh, shut up. They overcorrect for the hypersexuality of the 90s. That's hypersexual? And there's no woman in the room to say, relax, some women alike dressing in leopard print and crop tops, and that's okay. That's blue-pilled simps, and you take a look at the people, especially from the quotes that we were reading out. A lot of women were actually in that room, huh? Sure seems that way. It's almost like they're telling you what they're doing. It's another one of those situations where when you are being told by the people doing the cultural vandalization, when you're being told what their intentions are, you should probably listen, because more often than not, they're not lying. Sometimes they might be pointing their criticism in an inadvised direction. Like they might be saying, oh, it's all those chuds that are out there that are focusing on this stuff. It's like, no. You guys are just simply projecting your own intentions and being disingenuous about it. And, we've seen this time and time again. Nothing new, and you guys continue to do it because thankfully there are too many stupid people in the industry to really be covert about this stuff. Maybe you've been so emboldened where you can just go ahead and be blatantly overt about it. The Silent Hill 2 remake, kind of think always was going to have a difficult time being profitable anyways, so you just go ahead and you throw some dirt on its already premature grave with the whole modern audiences debacle, and well, you just kind of ended up resigning yourself to yet another studio graveyard. Like Propulsion Games, the studio behind We Happy Few, Contrast, we talked about them earlier this year. They ended up folding. Now you have Avalanche Studio Games. Avalanche, I know I've definitely heard that name before. Now that they're falling out. Remedy, of course, talked about them. You know, I don't think an Alan Wake 3 is going to be on the horizon anytime soon. Rocksteady, when's the next time you're going to hear anything from them? All right, few and far between. But hey guys, get excited for that Arkham VR spinoff. I'm sure that's going to sell in the dozens. But this stuff is not working anymore. You've had years and years and years of opportunities to try to capture the modern gaming audience, and every single time it's failed. So if you're gonna be dumb enough in 2024 in thinking that that is the way to move forward, you should probably go ahead and cancel your Kotaku subscription. Hopefully you didn't pay for the full year in advance, because, well, just like you and your job, I don't think it's going to survive that long. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.